Here's the big question. How is it that most entrepreneurs hustle and are always busy and struggle to take just one step forward only to fall two steps back? They're dedicated, determined, and driven, but only a few finally break through and win. This show uncovers those quantum leap patterns of highly successful people so you can simply model what they do and apply to your future success. That's the question, and the answers are right here. My name is Brigitte Höfele, and this is the Success Patterns Show. And you are here at the right time, at the right place, because it is always perfect the way it is. Welcome, everyone, to the Success Pattern Show. My name is Brigitte Höfele, and I feel honored to be here with you today and our guest expert. I am the CEO of the Center of NLP, and I am the mover and shaker and founder of the Success Patterns movement. And people ask me, Brigitte, why success patterns? And by the way, what are success patterns? Very simple. If we know what to model, when we know the pattern, when we know the sequence, we can encode that sequence and then decode it to our own success, however you may define success. And we have incredible guest experts every week for you, so you don't have to figure out stuff. You can actually tune in, model, and apply it in your own life. So today, as we are, as humans, are hardwired to learn hands-on from living, breathing teachers, and all of our leaders and guest experts that are on the show are teachers, and I learn from them, I'm inspired from them, and I sure am pretty sure that you will do the same and you will feel the same way. You're grand masters at work, and today you are in for a treat, as I say this every week, and it is true every week. I don't just bring on just anyone that I meet on the streets. These are high net worth, highly successful people that have come to this place of whatever their definition of success is because they have done something consistently. And it's probably not just one thing, but they have been persistent and consistent in the way that they work, in the way that they live, in the way that they do things, breathe, and show up in the world. Today, I have an incredible woman. And when I say that she made everything work to be on the show today, I don't mean that lightly. Like, she literally moved everything so she can be on the show today. Her mantra is, it's about people making a difference. Because she says, we, as you at home or in your office or wherever you're at your work, you influence daily. The question is, how do you influence? Do you influence in a good way? Do you influence in a not so good way? Whenever she speaks, or when she is part of her global speakers and influencers, she knows that there's an aha moment. She knows that people are going to walk away with something that one of her global speakers says. I'm going to hear more about her story. She is an incredible heart-centered leader. Her name is Marie Russo. She's a single mom. She took an early retirement from the global pharmaceutical corporate world after 25 plus years, during which she cared for both her parents until they passed. And she began her own corporation, Speaking of Success, Inc., which is a global high-profile speaker bureau, in 2019, right before the pandemic. She's an international speaker and contributing author of The Art of Risk and Reward. She's a proud nana of 3 grandsons. Marie embraces life, and her mantra, it's all about people making a difference. Ladies and gentlemen, help me welcome Miss Marie Russo. Marie, thank you for being here.
Oh my goodness, Brigitte, it is such a pleasure, and it is my honor, and I'm so humbled to be in your presence and to be acknowledged and shown such a warm welcome. Thank you, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for making the time. And Marie, the past few weeks, we don't want to give away too much information, but the past few weeks have been challenging for you, to say the least. And you show up anyway.
Absolutely. You know what? I live my life as an adventure every day. I just wake up, and it's an attitude. I wake up with a smile. I wake up with the sunshine, with a song in my heart. And I always give gratitude very much first and foremost to my God or the divine, or whomever it is for your audience. To give gratitude is first and foremost. I begin and end my day like that.
Yeah.
And
Wow.
I feel that it is, nothing is ever as planned. We have a plan, but sometimes it, your plan may not be the plan, and we have to always be flexible. Always think, well, maybe this is going to even be better than what it was supposed to have been, and to have that excitement rather than frustration. You always have plan B. I've done project management and went through certification through Harvard, and in my life, I know what it is to have the opportunity to identify the goals, the milestones, the tasks that you need. But at a point where we're trying to live our life, and there's a bump in the road, or we're told to turn, it's just like construction. And sometimes when you're traveling and you take the detour, oh my word, you see the countryside, or it may take you a little bit longer, but you have gained from that experience. And it is all about the experience. And anyone listening out there, I just share with you to embrace it, to say what can we see today, and what can we do, and take that little bit of knowledge. And I think the biggest word is to pivot, to have the ability to pivot, and that is key.
Now, I want to come back to pivoting, because you have done some serious pivoting in your life. And before we come to that, right, before we come to that, I want to hear, because what you have just described is a beautiful success pattern all in itself. The mindset, the opportunity, no matter how, I'm going to use a very technical term here, crappy you feel, you you get up with a smile and you make the best of it. Were you always that way? I mean, did you grow up that way? How did that, has
I
Jean
did.
Marie, share more about that pattern with us?
Oh, absolutely. First and foremost, I will give you the Reader's Digest version of it. I grew up with my mother being Italian, so I have an Italian heritage, and I was one of three. I was the youngest, and my father was military and German. So I had discipline, but I had the Italian love and the Italian warmth and heart. And I think that was the gifts, or part of the gifts that were a part of me. I'm a firm believer in that we have a tapestry, and the threads of our tapestry are there's gold and silver woven in there, and I was blessed with both. And I feel that I remember my mother always having music and in the house, and my father very much. So I think that the music brought peace. It brought an inspiration, and allowed me to be me. And the discipline that my father had instilled in our household, it was so good. Sometimes you don't realize the value of something, but you realize it even more years later. I always appreciated it. I always loved the military, and it was a sense of how I was brought up. A funny story, because I feel that in every family and every person is an individual. Even though I came from a family like the Italian and the German, the love and the strength that is there. Um, my sister and I were 7 years apart, and we were like night and day. Um, I'm dating myself, so the Mary Tyler Moore Show. If anyone ever Googles Mary Tyler Moore, you'll see it. My sister was totally Mary Tyler Moore, and I was totally Rhoda. And it really, Rhoda was more of a 60s person, but very free spirited and very much the ability to be respectful, but be herself. And that was me. Um, I guess maybe a person nowadays, it would be Sandra Bullock. I need my heels and my pearls and the blind side. I definitely can relate to how she is. Does that help? Did
Yeah.
I answer the question? Or
I love the balance that you just portrayed of, heart centered that you got from your mother. The music is such a deep, deep anchor for our psyche. And then also the structure, not just the structure of the military, but the structure of your German father. And as Germans, as I am myself, we're very well known for our structure, sometimes a little
oh,
bit too rigid.
oh, but you know what? Even though I am, and my father was a very quiet man, and he was, bless his heart, he served our country for 42 years.
Mm.
And he was a wonderful mentor for my son, a grandfather, mentor, coach, buddy. So he had that heart in him, and I had a way of bringing it out, because I'm sure I gave him quite a few gray hairs, because in the military, time wise, you have to be on time. And if you are on time, right at the time that you're told to be there, you are
You're late.
late.
Yep.
You're late. And we would arrive places an hour early, and that to me, oh my goodness, I could do so much in that hour. And so when I was able to at that age, I mean, I always fought it inside. And he would just shake his head, because I would be able to do and still get there on time, but I didn't have to be there an hour ahead of time. So, but it was just how our family was. And 5 o'clock
Yeah.
dinner, you were at that table.
So yeah, you totally acknowledged and addressed the question and answered it so beautifully. So it is something that you grew up with, and it is also something, because when we grow up with something, we have it intrinsically. We have it, not even intentionally. It's there. It's intrinsic. But
It
you
is.
have also over your life learned to know what the pattern is to that joy, to teach it to others. And now I want to pivot a little bit, and I want to hear more about you coming from a big corporate journey and success in the pharmaceutical industry, and you chose then to leave that behind, being a single mom, taking care of your parents until they passed, and then in 2019, right before the pandemic, start your own organization. Tell me about that whole process. And we only have a few more minutes, but I know it's a deep question.
Oh, no, 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 no. I can do this. Um, it was definitely, I was blindsided, if you will. I had a great career, and definitely it prepared me for entrepreneurship. I never
Mm.
realized how much, but it did. I was in the corporation global meeting and events, but I was in various other areas as well. And after caring for my mother and father and putting my life on hold, when my mother, she was the last to pass in 2018, I gave myself one more year and decided to take early retirement. And when I took early retirement, the day I retired, I was given a non-compete clause, which meant that I could not do what I was setting out to do because I had done meeting and event planning, and that was a part of my life globally. And the corporation felt that I would be in competition with them. So I signed a non-compete clause with them. And as I was walking out the door, day one, I knew I needed to quickly find what is it that I'm going to do now. And I ended up deciding and doing a real deep analysis of what it was that I liked and loved about meeting and events. And because I called them my mini weddings, and I just loved it. I felt and found that the key ingredient was the people. The people make the meeting, they make it a success. The speakers, that is key, because you are going to a meeting to learn, to be inspired, to be motivated. And I knew in my heart I could marry the two and just pivot and do what I wanted to do, be in the environment that I wanted to be in, and still do it globally, because whatever I do, in my mind, it isn't about a community, it isn't about a city, a state, a nation. It is global. People around the world need to hear, speak, and understand what we're doing.
Yeah. With all of the
And
success, yeah, go ahead.
go ahead. No,
With
I
all,
just wanted to continue just one more point to say, with that understanding and becoming an entrepreneur, I did not realize how much all the other components that I gained throughout the years, how much that was going to be critical in the success of becoming an entrepreneur, because life is so different. You don't realize it. You go from a world of a corporation, and I think what helped, literally helped, and I'm looking at it positively, was the effects of COVID in a society, how we had to learn to be at home, or with the virtual meetings or the computer or the phone, and to be able to function at home, motivate ourselves, come to a schedule. How do you plan your day? This is different. You're in the house, and your time needs to be structured to a point, because I know I find myself, and it's just me, but you're there 7/24, and you need that structured. You need to make sure that you have that self-care, that you have that time to be you and not just become a workaholic.
yeah, that's easy. It's easy to fall in the trap of just work, 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 because you're there and the computer's there and you
Mhm.
got stuff to do. So why not just knock it out? Or to fall into a trap of, ooh, let me check what's, going on social media, or let me check my emails, or let me check, YouTube. And it's easy to fall in all of those rabbit holes.
True.
May they be supportive or non-supportive. So it takes real discipline. I don't know, is discipline the right word?
I feel it is, because it gives you, um, you have to be accountable. You have to be accountable, not only to you, but to your clients, to the
Yep.
people that you report to, and in order to have that attitude, that accountability, that structure, that will be part of your stairway to success. And having that discipline, that lays the foundation.
Mm-hmm. I have quoted this next quote many times. Motivation is something that happens, when you're in the moment and when you're inspired by something. It's external. Motivation is external. Discipline is actually doing the things that you said you're going to do when you don't necessarily feel motivated anymore, when you don't necessarily feel like doing it in the moment. And that's discipline. Would you agree with that statement?
I do. Discipline to me is also, I look at it as the force. It's the
Mm.
wind beneath your wings. It gives you encouragement, because at times you don't feel like taking another call or going on another meeting. But you have to find the strength. It also determines strength, because it takes that to get through the moment, to get through the day, to get through the crisis. And I think being motivated, but being disciplined, that's critical.
And that's critical to success. Now, you teach the pillars of success.
I do.
What are
I
the
do.
how many pillars are there, and what are the most important ones?
I like keeping things simple. I have three. I have three pillars. I love the number three. So in my life, three. The pillars that I embrace are courage, um, because I feel that it's necessary to show up and to push through whatever it is that you're going through. And the next pillar I have is communication. And a lot of times people um, look at communication as talking and
Mm.
to tell everybody, share everybody the knowledge that they have, and to be present and that force. But the next pillar that I have being connecting, connecting and communication go hand in hand. And when you connect and communicate, you're not the one doing the talking. You have to listen. The listening is more critical than speaking.
Right here. Listen to relate. I love that. And it's a I like seeing things in triangles, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
there's the courage, the communication, and the connection, right?
The
Courage,
connection.
communicate.
Mm-hmm.
And a triangle is the sturdiest structure of all,
Mm-hmm.
but it is not sturdy when one of the elements within the triangle is weak.
Yes.
So it's not just courage, it's not just connection, it's not just communication. It's
Right.
all three.
It's all three. And if you look at it, courage, that has to be with you. That has to come
Mm.
from you. And what happens when you have communication and connection? That involves other people. So your courage has to be that foundation. And when you communicate, I'll give you an example. When you go into a room to network, the first thing people think of is they look at the room. Who is it in that room that I need to be speaking with? When they connect with that person, it isn't about talking about yourself. You know who you are, you know the knowledge that you have and what you could bring. But what's important is stepping back and finding out what is the story with this person? What is important to this person? What is going on in this person's life? And I'm not saying drama, but maybe there is a special significant event, and maybe that person knows someone that you know, and there's a connection right there. And the minute you leave that room, that environment, or get to a point where you could just jot down a few notes, the name, a date, the specific event, who they know, or what it is that you want to follow up, because then you go back to within 24, 48 hours and make sure that you send an email note or a text, or go to LinkedIn, even better, and message them and say, it was such a pleasure meeting you, and list one of the items at least that you connected upon. You're at least starting the rapport and starting that engagement, and that individual is going to say, oh my goodness, they're going to feel important. And I think that is critical, no matter where you go, who you meet, if it is the driver, the Uber driver, if it is whomever, make them feel important.
Connection begins when the other person feels heard and valued.
Yes.
If you had a magic wand, Jean Marie, and you could pass it out as a gift to everyone that's looking for the next level success, what could that magic wand do?
Oh my goodness. I would have to say that magic wand would bring everyone the dream that they have within their hearts. Too many times people go through life just feeling that they have to work to live. But you should, or live to work. It's giving you an opportunity to know that my life comes first, and I work maybe to bring in the income, but what I do is critical. What I know and share, the competencies that I have, it's all valid, but it's about the people. It's people making a difference, touching our lives, and that is bringing a dream to success. It's going to make you a happier person, and the people that you touch, you have no idea. And that satisfaction in your heart, the value that you bring on a daily basis. Success is a journey, not a destination.
Oh, that's a good one. Yes.
And it's a quote that I just hang on to. And that's how you live, or I live my life. It's just a journey, and I look forward to every moment, every day, because we only have today. You only have this moment. And if you have a dream, as long as you have passion, you'll succeed.
That's right. That's right. That is such a beautiful advice. And our connection is a model for that, right? We were connected by, I think it was Maya Lisa that connected us.
Yes.
And she was on the show just recently. And she didn't just connect us. You and I, started talking, and I started asking, and you started asking, and we started becoming in service to each other. And that's the beautiful thing about relationships. It's not about what can you do for me? No, what can I do for you? And who else can I introduce you to? That's that ripple
Absolutely.
effect.
Absolutely. And the connection, and you never know where that will lead. And just quickly, I mean, this past year, from May until now, I spoke internationally at a castle in Ireland. I was there for a week. At the castle we had the book launch, and I've met one of my speakers through Heather Burgett, and he is one of the co-stars, or had done an episode, I should say, with Blue Bloods. And prior to even knowing that, when we connected, I saw the passion. I saw what his dream was, and ended up having him come on board with Speaking of Success. And now, from May or July until now, there's a movie in the making. A script was written. It's in the hands of two highly award-winning directors. And I met Ron Howard through him at a screening for Ron Howard's screening for 13 Lives. And it was just, showing up. But imagine, the sky's the limit, and expect the unexpected. And that's how I live my life. And when that phone rings, I'm like, I'm there. Where is it? And within 24 hours, people cannot keep up with me. And that's okay. I love it, because I just love to see and to hear and to feel. But most of all, it's about the people making a difference. And
Yes, it is.
and that's
And
how life is lived, or should be lived, in my
I
mind.
agree. I agree. And I agree 100%. And I'm pretty sure our listeners agree as well, and our viewers. Now, you brought a gift,
Mm-hmm.
the pillars of success. Tell us a little
Right.
bit about the gift, and I will also put in how people can get in touch with you to receive their gift.
Oh, absolutely. I created, through my courses, if you will, I created just the pillars of success, as I spoke to you about it today: the courage, the communication, and the connecting. I have a PDF, and it is a tip sheet, and helps you pivot and understand, maybe a little bit of a process, if you will. And if you email me, I'll send you that PDF. And if you wish, I will be happy to have a 15-minute conversation with the first 25 people that send me their information. But email me, and I will definitely reach out. And
Awesome.
I answer my emails personally. So
That's beautiful.
you will be
That is
hearing from me. I take
from not
ownership.
just anyone, but from Jean Marie herself, and
Mm-hmm.
that is valuable all in itself. So send an email to
Mm-hmm.
Jean Marie,
Mm-hmm.
JeanMarie at Speaking Success Inc.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking Success Inc. So Jean Marie at Speaking Success Inc.com. Send an email to her. Don't forget your name, your email address, and in the subject line, put in Pillars of Success, Success Patterns Show. So Jean Marie knows exactly where you're coming from. Jean Marie, thank you for taking the time. Thank you for sharing nuggets after nuggets after nuggets. I mean, it's just beautiful. I can't wait to read the transcript and take some notes. And I do that with all of my guest experts, because there's always beautiful insights that are being dropped on the Success Pattern Show. So thank you for being here, Jean Marie.
Oh my goodness, it's been a pleasure, and I always embrace this time with anyone, and especially with you, Brigitte. Thank you, and thank you to your audience who's watching today, because I know your time is valuable, and it is about people follow that dream and keep it in your heart.
Those are great parting words. Thank you guys for tuning in to the Success Pattern Show. Tune in again next Tuesday at 1:30 Pacific Time, 4:30 Eastern Time. Until then, ciao and bye for now. Thank you for tuning in to the Success Pattern Show at www.thesuccesspatternshow.com. My name is Brigitte Höfele.